Welcome to Layers of Communication with your host, Lydia Taggart. Life presents experiences that add a layer to who we are and how we see the world, affecting how we communicate. Lydia is here to help you take apart the layers and create new ways to connect and build relationships. So now, please welcome the host of Layers of Communication, Lydia Taggart.
Welcome to Layers of Communication. I'm your host, Lydia Taggart. I'm so excited for you to be here today. On Layers of Communication, we talk about the different layers of experiences that we have that pile onto who we are and affect how we interact and communicate with those around us. Today I have been, actually the last week or so, I have been noticing a really big push and clash about people's opinions on Halloween and the holidays in general. Well, why do we have a holiday? What's a holiday? And why do we have to fight about it? I mean, there's all these different stories about people fighting with their in-laws and whatever at Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is supposed to be a time of giving thanks and having gratitude, but it's turned into some memorial of fighting, and it's crazy. Well, we have all these different experiences that contribute to how we see the world and what we think about as holidays. So one of the holiday criticisms that I've had this week, actually just this morning I got another one, is Halloween is devil worshiping Satan, and we shouldn't do it. Lots of us send our kids out and trick or treat. I grew up, I celebrate it in a different way. I mean, there's different ways. So to understand another point of view, we want to dissect all these layers. What's contributing to this belief about the holiday? And we might have a different opinion. Let's get into it. Let's talk about this. Welcome to Layers of Communication. We're going to get into this today. All right, so I'm going to tell you about some of my history and my layers and how I view the holidays, in hopes that you will be able to make your life a little easier, have a little more hope, have a little more sunshine and light in your soul, and just be able to have more happiness and joy around you and be able to connect and have those relationships be stronger, not being worn down and just butting heads all the time. Okay, so here's one of my first memories about Halloween. Now, my family growing up, we're a blended family. We have his, hers, mine, ours, theirs, the whole spectrum of blended families, right? Halloween was never fought over. Nobody ever cared if we spent Halloween with them. Thanksgiving and Christmas, on the other hand, everybody was like, oh, I want the kids on Christmas. I want the kids on Christmas. Can we all be together on Thanksgiving? Well, I want the kids on Thanksgiving. And we had all this other people's schedules to figure out and make one who's being where, when, and all that. So Halloween became our family's together time because it was a day that nobody else was really vying for. It was available. And why not? Why not just pick a day? I've told you guys before that, my quads, they have their birthday all on the same day, but we want to celebrate each one of them individually because we're so glad each one of them as an individual is part of our family. They all contribute so many different ways. We pick a different day. For Thanksgiving this year, we're going different places. We tried, and many times over the years, this is an ongoing thing for my family. We try to still have Thanksgiving, but you might be there on Thanksgiving Day, and we want you here and there, everywhere. Just pick another day. We're going to have turkey and the Thanksgiving dinner meal a week before Thanksgiving, and then we're going to go travel and be with our family on Thanksgiving, our other family on Thanksgiving Day. You just pick a day. It's a day of family and together. So my family growing up, Halloween became this time of being together. And I remember my dad would dress up. Everybody would dress up. It didn't matter if you were a kid or old. We all dressed up, and my dad would walk with us through the neighborhood. And the kids would run down, my sisters and I, we would run down one side of the neighborhood and we'd cross the street and we'd run back, and my dad would be there at the corner waiting for us, and we'd walk up to the next street. And he would get to visit with the neighbors. The other dads were out there walking their kids around. It was a really big to-do, just being out. It wasn't scary, and by no means at all was it Satan worshiping. It was just playing. Just playing. And we have this growing up need as children to role play. We always have had this for as long as time can be. When you're young, you imitate and act like what you want to be when you grow up. And typically it's been your parents. When little girls have been, and boys, now there's the separation is less than it used to be. But mom's cooking, so the little girl's gonna pretend to cook with her tea set and feed her dolls, right? She's gonna learn how to take care of people. She carries a doll around. My brother had this doll, this little army guy, but he was a stuffed animal doll kind of thing. Carried him around. It was really fun. But anyway, that's why we have toys, is to role play and interact and practice what we want to become. Yes, of course, Halloween is scary in some ways. There's all those scary movies. There's ways that can be scary, but it doesn't have to be that way. And that's what I want you to take from this most of all. It doesn't have to be the way anybody else has decided it should be or that it is. We get to decide for ourselves how we look through these layers of life. We get to decide how we communicate with the rest of the world, and especially with our families. So for me, Halloween is a family time. Fast forward a couple years, lots of years, I had my quadruplets in October, and it was pretty intense. It was an intense month. And as we got older, we wanted to have a celebration for them. They weren't old enough to do all their own days throughout the year on different days. So instead of having just a huge birthday party, we invited the neighbors. We went and did it at a park near our house, and we had what we called the Halloween party, because we didn't want any presents. Oh my goodness, we did not need any more stuff in our house. We didn't need all this other stuff. But of course they knew, all the neighbors and friends that we invited knew that it was because it was the quad's birthday. We didn't do a happy birthday cake. We did little ghost cupcakes. And my kids were remembering this the other day. It was so fun to see them remember when they were little. They were like maybe 4 or 5 years old when we had that big party. It's another layer of how I feel about Halloween. It's a celebration of my family. And I have never been a scared lover. A scaring lover? How do you say that? I've never enjoyed being scared a whole lot. I went to haunted houses when I was a kid, and that was kind of funny. And there's just funny stories about that. And that's also a family time with my family. When I was in high school, I went and I was going to work in a haunted house as one of the scarers. And it only lasted one day. It was pretty hilarious because I was the one who's supposed to be down in this box, right? I'm crouching down, crunching. I don't crunch, crouching down in this box. And my job was to jump up and scare them when they come around the corner. It was dark and it was really great. So I crouch. I almost said crunch again. I crouch down and I'm like, here comes someone. I can hear someone coming. And I jumped up and they jumped so big, it scared me. It was so funny and embarrassing. It was hilariously embarrassing. But I was like, oh, they jumped. I scared them. And they laughed so hard all the way through the haunted house. They're like, we scared the scarer. Ah, ha, ha. And the haunted house was not scary for them either because I didn't do a very good job of it. Well, I guess I did initially scare them, but it was not not scary anymore. So funny, so funny. So now my son, my oldest son, has been invited to apply to work at a haunted house. And I'm just thinking, I wonder if he can handle that. Because we haven't been exposed to a lot of scary things. I don't know if he thinks it's just funny. And he's in the acting world, and that's some of his theater friends have invited him to go and do this because they need actors to act like they're scary. And so we'll see what happens with that. I don't know if he'll probably do a much better job than I did, but that was just really funny. And so there's another layer on there. It's not it's not evil worshiping. It's just something to laugh at. But on the other hand, kids dress up as superheroes. We dress up as our favorite people on TV. We dress up as people that we want to make fun of and get a laugh. It doesn't have to all be scary. There's so many different ways to celebrate Halloween. There's an organization where I think it's called UNICEF, if I remember right. The kids can get this little fundraiser box and go around, and instead of getting candy for trick-or-treating, they collect money and donations to go to this charitable organization to help kids who are in need. It doesn't have to be a scary, bad thing. And I really, really hope that all those people who are being so judgmental and harsh on those of us who just like to have fun will lighten up a little bit. And if for you, if you're afraid of it being devil worshiping, that's great. Don't do it. Please don't do something that goes against who you are and what you stand for. That's a real thing. I know lots of my friends have decided they're going to celebrate something else instead and not do trick-or-treating. They're not going to open the door. They're not going to be home. They're going to just do their own celebration of something else. And I always think, wow, that's really great. And I can never remember what the other thing they celebrate is instead. I am sorry. I do the Halloween. Oh, look at my hair. It's so crazy fun. That's a great hair day. Anyway, that's part of Halloween too, is just being funny and making your hair weird. Dressing up as a superhero goes along with what we were talking about before with the role play. We step into that role, we put a little bit more of that superhero power on us, and we can have enough awesomeness to combat all the negative. There's balance in all things. And as some people are celebrating scary, yucky things, other people are working on the good and the superhero powers, and we're going to win this battle and those kinds of things. Now, superheroes are amazing. The idea of having a superhero is really amazing. I love the stories of like terminally ill kids in the hospital, and they're just having a horrible time and hoping that they can just live another minute, or these terminally ill kids and their families. Excuse me. Emotional moment here. And then someone, a regular human person, puts on a costume, dresses up as a superhero, as Batman, as Spider-Man, as Iron Man, as any of these superhero people, as Wonder Woman, and they go and just visit the kids in the hospital. It's magical. It makes a huge difference. It lightens their mood. It gives them hope. It just brings joy to them. And what is it? It's because they dressed up in a costume. I mean, really. They went and visited someone dressed up as a superhero. I don't see a problem dressing up and helping people. I really don't. I think it's fantastic. I think if we're trying to overcome our weaknesses, we could benefit from dressing up as a superhero or our favorite person that we want to emulate. I think that's great. There's all these different stories about dress for success and you are what you wear and things like that. It's okay to dress up as something amazing. We don't need to live in fear. We can step up and be a superhero, at least for one day. I mean, that's a great thing. That's a great thing. Bring joy to people. Okay, so another thing that I've done with my Halloween, another layer, if you will. So when we were kids, we all did the family thing, and we carried that tradition on as we got older. We would all still meet at mom and dad's, and then grandpa would take all of his grandkids out to trick or treat, and our kids would go with their cousins trick or treating. And it was a family gathering time. And it has been until just recently. All the kids are growing up. They're getting kind of older. We've got a younger batch. My sister's kids don't live nearby. And so it makes it a little more difficult. But all the cousins that we would hang out with for Halloween, they've pretty much grown up. All my youngest are 13. So it's kind of what do we do this year for Thanksgiving? Because they're not little anymore, but we still want to dress up and celebrate and have fun. And just, you don't have to be stuck in what you think you might be. You can be anything you want. You can be a butterfly. You can be a fairy, a princess, or a knight in shining armor. You can slay the dragons. You can be your favorite superhero. You can be whatever you want on Halloween. It doesn't have to be a scary thing. It can be fun and good. One of my favorite things that we did in was it last year or the year before? Maybe it was both years. We go and we do the grandpa thing with the cousins, and then we come home and we trick or treat around our own neighborhood. Well, this is such a perfect time to go and meet your neighbors and visit and say hi. I don't really get to see my neighbors all that often. So my kids would knock on the door, they'd say trick or treat, and then I would give a hug. There's the treat. Giving treats, giving a hug to my friends that I haven't seen often enough. And something about the fourth or fifth house, my kids went up to the door, and they're way faster than I am. My kids go up to the door and they knock there, and oh, it's good to see you. And oh, look, you're dressed up. You're so cute. Stuff like this. And my son says, my mom's going to give you a hug. Yes, I am. I'm going to come and say hi and give a hug to my friends. Any excuse to go around. I mean, we talk about the season of love in December. I love to kick off the season at Halloween. I think it's a great time to go out and just share love with our neighbors and meet them and just be there. Hi, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. They're already there. I'm already there. It's a great time. So that's one of my other layers of how I feel about Halloween. And it brightens people's day. There's all that scary stuff too, but we can be a force for good. We don't have to submit to scariness. We don't. We can be strong, and we can go out and do whatever good we feel, even on Halloween. And the thing is, all those bad people doing bad choices, they don't have to have a special day for it either. Halloween doesn't have to be their day. If they're going to do bad things, they're going to do them anytime they want. Just like if I'm going to love someone, I can love them anytime I want. I can choose to have a Thanksgiving meal with my family nearby a week before Thanksgiving and then go travel and see my other family on Thanksgiving Day. It doesn't have to be limited to just one day. We don't have to limit our love. We don't have to limit our superhero powers and our awesomeness. We don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid of it. You don't have to. This is one of my favorite things. Thanksgiving is after Halloween. And after Thanksgiving is Christmas. And they're kind of month-long celebrations. If you go, it's not so much anymore. The stores decorate for Christmas in August almost. I don't even know. It's crazy. But it's been like Halloween is October. If you're going to decorate, you do the 1st of October and you change it after Halloween. And you change your decorations to Thanksgiving and harvest time. And you leave those up, those decorations, you leave them up for a month, and then you switch out to Christmas. And you leave those up for a month. If you get into January and you still have your Christmas things up, people start wondering about you. But it's like every month has a holiday, and each holiday lasts for a month. So I think there's a really amazing pattern here that I want to invite you to share with me in. Halloween is scary. Sometimes it can be scary. It's a bringing to our awareness of all the negative and darkness around us in the world. We can't move forward if we don't know where we are. It doesn't matter where we're going if we don't have a map to work from, or we know where we stand and which direction to go. So I love Halloween for that, bringing to awareness of how horrible the world really can be. I had someone telling me yesterday, how much they just really are annoyed by all these optimistic, positive all the time people. And it was going on about how you have to be realistic, right? You have to be realistic. And I was like, you know what? You better stop right now before you say anything else, because it's almost going to turn into an insult. Because I'm one of those people. I'm optimistic. I have a lot of hope and faith in the world and the goodness in the people. I think you're amazing. I know you're amazing. And most people are. Halloween brings that balance. We're not just walking around with blinders on. We know that there's stuff in the world, but we can choose to look beyond it and hope and have faith in something better and something awesome. Because there's really awesome things in the world. Really, really awesome things in the world. So, knowing where we are, all this horrible stuff around us, that's Halloween. We step into our superhero powers or whatever awesomeness we're going to do. And we're like, this is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. The world can be all bleh, for lack of a better word. The world can be bleh. And I can be awesome. I can be awesome, even when there's scariness in the world. And then we move into Thanksgiving, the season of gratitude. Oh, I love it. Here's a little secret. You can't really have gratitude for something unless you've been through missing it or not having it. Does that make sense? It's so amazing to understand this. You feel the warmth of the sun in a different way if you've been cold. You appreciate light in a different way if you've been in the dark. You appreciate people showing you love in a different way if you have lacked feeling loved. We need the darkness and all these negative experiences so we can appreciate and be thankful for the good. We wouldn't even know that we liked it if we didn't know that we don't like the other stuff. We have to have it. It has to be there. So we go from knowing that it's there, stepping into who we are, who we want to be, and we're so awesome. Oh, sorry, hit the microphone. We're so awesome. Even with my weird hair. You're so awesome. You are so incredibly awesome. You can do anything. You can get through all that darkness and scariness in your life, all those other layers of the past, other people's layers that they're trying to put on you. You can do it. You can do it. And then you have gratitude. And I love the season of gratitude for so many reasons. We get to make sure we're appreciating gratitude. Oh my goodness. There are so many scientific evidences, studies and things that having gratitude changes your health, changes just everything. Having gratitude is amazing and we need it. It's not something that's nice or yeah, that would be good. We need it. We vitally, essentially need gratitude. That's the way it is. We have to have it. We have to. So we go through the season of gratitude and just building up our awesomeness. We got our superhero suit on. We got our awesomeness on. We got our gratitude going. I got to tell you another thing about gratitude because I've seen the miracles of it in my life just last week. I had all of the quads, all four of them, had all four of their wisdom teeth out on Friday. Well, that's not a real pleasant thing to go to. Not usually. People aren't really excited to go and have oral surgery usually. And especially one of my kids was making sure I knew it. Why do I have to go? Why do we even have wisdom teeth? Wow. All negative. Having a hard time. Well, of course, it wasn't close to our house. We had to drive a while to get there, like an hour, and drive around it a few times because I didn't see the sign and get lost, all that good stuff. We spent that time. I said, okay, I know we don't like it. Let's find some gratitude. And we spent that time driving, taking turns and shouting over each other about things that we're grateful for. The sun was rising. Oh, I'm so thankful that the sun is rising. I get to see it. I have eyes that work, and I'm so grateful for this stoplight to help me not crash. And I'm so thankful for the car working. I'm so thankful our heater works in the car. So it was a little bit cold early in the morning as the sun was coming. It was fabulous, beautiful, beautiful day. And we just went on and on the whole way there. And we got to transition it to the experience that we were looking forward to. I'm so thankful that people are there to help me get rid of my wisdom teeth so that I don't have to have more pain later. I could deal with a little bit of pain now and not have to deal with all this other possible stuff later. I'm so thankful that there's a trained doctor. I'm so thankful that they have medicine to help me not hurt as much. I'm so thankful that, the nurses are there for me. I'm so thankful, all these things. Well, we had the most speedy recovery that I could ever imagine. And I think that gratitude played a huge part in it. Putting our minds in the right place. Gratitude is amazing. It wasn't near as scary as it could have been. We actually didn't use any of the narcotic pain pills at all. They said, take it anyway, just in case. This is oral surgery. It might hurt. And I was monitoring them very closely to make sure, every 20, 30 minutes, what's your pain number? The highest it ever got was a 3 or a 4 for any of them. I said, if you get to a 10, that's a problem. If you get to a 5, I'm going to go get those other pills. Well, on day 2, my boy that had the hardest time with it, he was so scared. He was so anxious. He's very sensitive to his emotions. The day after, he says, no, Mom, I don't even need Tylenol. Don't even need the Tylenol. Don't give it to me. I don't want it. I am fine. And that's because of gratitude, of being able to put our minds in a place that we can be in control of how we feel. All right, almost out of time today. The last season holiday, after gratitude and Thanksgiving, we move into Christmas. Whatever you call it, if you don't celebrate Christmas, December is, generally speaking, in the United States, where I live, it is a season of love and giving and thoughtfulness. All the radio stations that are all people who need fundraising, they do it in December because that's when people are open and loving, and we want to give. We want to love our neighbors more than we have before. We want to go out there and just help each other. And I think we're there for each other when we're doing, like, if there's a natural disaster or something, we bond together and we help each other. But in our daily, regular routine, we're just wrapped up in our regular routine until December. And something happens over the nation where we decide, hey, it's December. It's time to love more. It's time to step out and do something bigger and better. And there's my alarm. That means we're out of time. Oh, my hair is so fun today. If you think about it, the gratitude leads into love. You can't really have love if you don't have gratitude. And I think that's what happens in December. We get all this thankful stuff started, and we have all this yummy, I love my thankful things. I'm so thankful for everything. All that happening for a month. It just naturally, how could it not lead into a season of greater love? Just a wonderful pattern. So I invite you today, what can we do about this and having our odds with our relationships? Take a moment, follow this pattern in our own lives, right? Take a moment and say, where am I? What is the real situation? How scary and ugly is it? How awesome can I be? What can I do about it? Can I save the day? Can I go and rescue that cat from the tree that won't get out? What can I do? It's not someone's fault. It's not what can they do or they need to something. It's recognizing where we are, putting on our own superhero powers, and taking it on. It's our responsibility for our relationships. 100%. It's not 50-50, it's 100%. And then we find things that we're thankful for. If we're struggling with a relationship, if there's someone that you're having a hard time loving, find things to be grateful for in them. Teenagers, I've got 6 of them now. I've got 6 teenagers. They are so amazing. And I've noticed this in myself. If they are, they're like, Mom, remember this. Mom, remember that. I need this. I need that. Right? That's what a lot of kids do. My teenagers this week have been reminding me of things that are on my to-do list and supporting me and helping me remember. And there was a point that I almost said, stop reminding me. I know. Take a step back. Go. They're reminding me because they love me and they want me to accomplish what I've told them I want to do. I have it on my to-do list and I haven't done it yet. They're reminding me because they love me. If we can take the nagging idea away and just switch it up and say, oh, they're reminding me because they love me. We're taking the garbage out. They're nagging me to take the garbage out because they love me and they want me to be in my best, and that means I have a better environment without garbage falling out on the floor and tripping over piles of junk. It's better for me. They love me. They want me to have what's better for me. No matter what it is, there's a way to find gratitude in that person. I can help you if you need it. And then it just naturally flows into love. I love it. I love it. It's so easy when we find the gratitude piece. There's, of course, a lot of other missing pieces in relationships that move around, all those different layers of love languages, learning styles, everything piles on in different ways. I can help you sort it out as your personal coach. I'm Lydia Taggart, and you can find me at lydiataggart.com or cheerfulbychoice.com. I better sign off. We're running out of time today. Go find something to celebrate. Celebrate your goodness and celebrate the good around you, because you are worth it, and so are they. This is Layers of Communication. I'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Layers of Communication with your host, Lydia Taggart. Tune in next week as we discover the layers in order to communicate and connect down to your core on Lydia Taggart's Layers of Communication.